Welcome to Kansas Ag Report. I'm Ken Rogers. On this week's program, we get an update on the Kansas wheat crop from Taylor Williamson with Kansas Wheat. We'll also talk about what's going on in D.C. And we'll have features from the Kansas Soybean Commission, Kansas Department of Agriculture, and Kansas Grain Sorghum, plus our weekly update from the Kansas Livestock Association and market information from Pinion, a division of K-Coe Isom.
Kansas Ag Report brought to you in part by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Kansas Farm Bureau, a grassroots ag organization representing the state's farm and ranch families since 1919, KFB.org. And the Kansas Wheat Commission, lending in the adoption of profitable innovations from wheat. Online at kswheat.com.
Well, in ag news from agview.net, fertilizer prices are up dramatically this spring, increasing input costs for growers. Data from USDA shows that prices are up between 17 and 57% since the fall. David Widmar of Ag Economic Insights says that while nitrogen often gets the most attention, phosphorus prices are up the most. Anhydrous ammonia and urea are up 37% from fall, but considerably smaller increases over spring of last year. Meanwhile, liquid nitrogen prices only up 9% over last year, but 20% higher than last fall. Now, the increase in fertilizer prices means that fertilizer expenses up $29 an acre from last spring are 30% higher. But Widmar does note the increases follow a strong downturn from a year ago, adding prices are up from historic lows and, for the most part, remained well below the levels of 2011 through 2014. The exception, however, is phosphorus fertilizer, up 51% compared to last fall. Former Kansas Senator Pat Roberts landing a new gig, now serving as a partner with the D.C. firm Capital Console. Roberts, the only member of Congress to serve as chairman of both the House and Senate Ag committees, will serve as a senior counselor to those firms' clients. He will offer his insight and advice of legislative strategy and his deep understanding of the executive branch. And this summer, hundreds of Kansas 4-H members will disconnect from technology and immerse themselves in the beauty of the great outdoors. Rock Springs 4-H Center making preparations to host youth again this summer. Several summer camps currently scheduled from June 6th through the 30th. If you're interested in participating in summer camps at Rock Springs, you're urged to contact your local K-State Research and Extension office as soon as possible, since space is limited. Now, some scholarships may be available to help with the cost to attend camp. More ag news at agview.net. We'll have more in a moment.
Kansas Ag Report brought to you in part by Kansas Grain Sorghum, growers working together. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org. Grass and Grain, online or in the mail, keeping Kansas farmers informed for over 60 years. grassandgrain.com. And agview.net, serving the Beef Belt and Western Corn Belt with reliable and relevant agriculture information. agview.net.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas Corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
Many seed companies claim to offer the latest genetics, but how many have tested those genetics in soils just like yours? The Oldie Seed Know to Grow research program has fully tested the latest seed genetics in soils that are right in your neighborhood. The Oldie Seed Know to Grow program can recommend the best performing hybrids from technologies like Enlist, Extend, and LibertyLink that will optimize the yield and profit of every acre on your farm. Contact Oldie Seed today.
What if U.S. soybean meal were more than a commodity? If seed companies and the soybean checkoff built a better variety? That future is here. The time is now. To meet end-user demands, the soybean checkoff is investing in the compositional quality of soybeans including meal. A message from the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
And joining us is Taylor Williamson, who is the Director of Government Affairs for the Kansas Wheat. Hi, Taylor.
Hi, Ken. How are you today?
Doing great. Thanks for joining us. As we have turned the calendar now to 1st of April, early April, Easter weekend, it's kind of maybe time to get that first look at the Kansas wheat crop as it's broke dormancy. What are you seeing? What are you hearing of how things look around the state?
Right. Thank you, Ken. I appreciate the opportunity to be on here with you. The rains have obviously helped improve the situation, and they really came at a critical time as we break from that dormancy, as you mentioned, and move into that growing season. So if you look back at last fall, the early planted wheat really got off to a pretty good start with the available moisture, while that later planted wheat didn't get the establishment, the emergence, or the crown and root development that you'd like to see. So between that and the drier soils leading into February, with those very, very cold temperatures, we were a little bit worried about winter kill. But the soil temperatures at the time were actually higher than the air temperatures. And then we got these March rains. So I think the crop is responding pretty well. Then growers also, they got out prior to the rain, knowing the forecast, were able to apply some of those fertilizers. So right now we've got not only moisture, but vital nutrients there at the root zone, which is crucial for the number of tillers, the development of the head, and the number of kernels. So we're sitting at roughly 2% jointed. We're a little bit behind, but that could actually lessen the impact of any potential spring freezes. Now, the upcoming weather and the south winds could also get things moving along pretty fast. We did see an uptick in sub and topsoil moistures, and we've seen a 20% jump in conditions from about a month ago. We're sitting at 50% good to excellent. So we've got a ways to go, but there's a lot of optimism for this year's crop.
Well, that's it. So thanks for that update. Talk about optimism, or at least challenges. Let's focus on DC the rest of our conversation. So as we wrap up this first segment, there's a lot going on. And one thing we do know is another version of coronavirus assistance is coming farmers' way.
Yeah, absolutely. So the USDA announced implementation of existing COVID relief provisions and resources, as well as those recently authorized by Congress. Most importantly for wheat farmers and other farmers, this includes a $20 per acre payment that is based on those CFAP2 applications. Now, farmers will not need to submit new applications, and payments are expected to go out in about April. This was pretty good news from the USDA, but Congress was very specific in the December relief package about that $20 per acre. The announcement is also part of a broader relief initiative by the department. They are now calling it the USDA Pandemic Assistance for Producers Initiative. Programs like CFAP fall into this, but it's really broken down into 4 different parts. So part 1 includes $6 billion to expand help and assistance for more producers. This component includes assistance for a variety of stakeholders, including biofuels, livestock, and then PPE for food and farm workers. Part 2 adds about $500 million of new funding for existing programs. This includes $28 million for NEFA for grants to state departments of agriculture that are working with programs on farm stress assistance. So if people are stressed out about the current situation, if they're needing some help through those things, that's what some of those programs are being funded. Part 3 carries out the formula payments for CFAP1, CFAP2, and this additional assistance of CFAP. That includes that $20 per acre that I mentioned. These additional payments will amount to around $4.5 billion and will go out to over 550,000 producers. Then part 4 is reopening the CFAP2 application to help improve access and outreach to the more underserved producers.
All right, Taylor, lots of stuff to unpack. Making sure we can find it online, and so we'll continue that conversation. Taylor, let's take a quick break. Taylor Williamson, Kansas Wheat's joining us. We come back, we'll discuss farmers' role in this whole carbon debate when we return.
Absolutely.
Kansas Ag Report brought to you in part by the Kansas Livestock Association, supporting members' business interests and meeting consumer demands. KLA.org. Oldie Seed Farms, carrying soil-specific seed. Find them on the web at oldieseed.com. That's OHLDE seed.com. And Kansas Corn, building the future at kansascorn.com.
What if U.S. soybean meal were more than a commodity? If seed companies and the soybean checkoff built a better variety? That future is here. The time is now. To meet end-user demands, the soybean checkoff is investing in the compositional quality of soybeans, including meal. A message from the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Many seed companies claim to offer the latest genetics, but how many have tested those genetics in soils just like yours? The Oldie Seed Know to Grow research program has fully tested the latest seed genetics in soils that are right in your neighborhood. The Oldie Seed Know to Grow program can recommend the best performing hybrids from technologies like Enlist, Extend, and Liberty Link that will optimize the yield and profit of every acre on your farm. Contact Oldie Seed today.
And our guest this week is Taylor Williamson, who is the Director of Governmental Affairs for the Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. And Taylor, one of the things that we've heard about going on back in D.C. is the Biden administration focusing on climate, which is doing a lot of focus on carbon farming, carbon banks. What role would the Kansas wheat farmers play in all that?
Absolutely. So this is always a very controversial topic. There's lots of different opinions between farm groups, between farmers themselves, and for sure between our legislators up in DC. So one of the first bills that we're expecting to move through the Senate Ag Committee is called the Growing Climate Solutions Act. This is something that is sponsored by American Farm Bureau and is endorsed by a number of different organizations. So while it does have bipartisan support, there are a lot of questions around it. The bill essentially authorizes the USDA to develop a program to reduce barriers of entry into carbon markets. These farmers face significant numbers of these barriers between technical knowledge, understanding of how the carbon markets work, and so that's something that the USDA has been working to address. It also sets up an advisory council to help advise the USDA on new and existing programs. So it's gotten a lot of pushback, especially from the House Ag Committee ranking member. That would be Pennsylvania Representative G.T. Thompson. He thinks that government should just stay out of private markets in general. There's also a lot of questions about where the funding will come from. So ranking member John Bozeman in the Senate Ag Committee has stated that he doesn't want to see funding come from existing farm programs. So they'll have to look for a different source for that funding. And so a number of the sponsors have been looking at new ways to try to figure out how to fund that proposal. So then also sticking close to that area, the Conservation Reserve Program is something we're all pretty familiar with. We're sitting at around 20.8 million acres nationally enrolled in the program, which is quite a ways short of the 25 million acre limit. That's been pretty disappointing to the USDA, and Secretary Vilsack has really put some emphasis on trying to figure out different ways to encourage more participation in the program. Then you also mentioned the carbon bank and carbon farming. The USDA has made that a priority to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, and they feel like a USDA carbon bank could be one of the solutions to that. So there's a lot of work to be done in this area, including CCC funding, technical portions of it, But it really seems like that's going to be a big priority, especially since the administration has put an emphasis on finding new markets for agriculture. They feel that carbon could be one of those new markets.
Well, Taylor, there's a lot there to go through, and we're just the beginning of these conversations as the new administration kind of gains their traction. And so I'm sure these conversations will continue for quite a while. So again, appreciate you joining us and all the updates, and we wish farmers a great last of the growing season. Look forward to good reports for this summer's Kansas wheat harvest. Thanks.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ken, for the opportunity to be here.
Taylor Williamson is the Director of Government Affairs for Kansas Wheat. He's joined us. Stay with us. More coming up.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas Corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
Premier Farm and Home has what you need to make your lawn the best in the neighborhood.
Hi, I'm Ken. We choose Premier Farm and Home for the professional look that we do ourselves.
Feel free to stop in. You can also visit our website at heycow.com.
During National Soy Foods Month this April, we share how soy can be an important part of your diet. The United States Department of Agriculture agrees, including soy food products supports healthy eating. Recently, USDA issued updated dietary guidelines for Americans. Soy-based foods fit into 4 of the 6 core dietary elements: dairy, oils, vegetables, and protein foods. Soy's prominence in the guidelines demonstrates a major success for the soybean checkoff. The checkoff has worked to position soy as a sustainably sourced ingredient with many nutritional benefits, including that it boosts heart health and serves as a supplemental protein. The Kansas Soybean Commission encourages consumers to celebrate National Soy Foods Month by exploring soy foods and seeing how they may work in your meal rotation. Brighten up stir-fry and salads with edamame, or bake with a soy flour blend and margarine. There are many options just waiting for you to try them. Be sure to check out kansassoybeans.org/consumers for this month's soy food recipes brought to you by Charlene Patton.
What if sustainability were synonymous with U.S. soy? If energy efficiency, water quality, and soil health help define U.S. soy's value, that future is here, the time is now. To meet end-user demands, the Soybean Checkoff is committing to sustainability that's achievable, worthwhile, and enduring. A message from the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Premier Farm and Home has what you need to make your lawn the best in the neighborhood.
Hi, I'm Ken. We choose Premier Farm and Home for the professional look that we do ourselves.
Feel free to stop in. You can also visit our website at heycow.com.
At the foundation of the Kansas economy, you'll find agriculture. And at the foundation of all things agriculture, you'll find healthy soil. At the Kansas Department of Agriculture's Division of Conservation, we are focused on the importance of soil health and soil conservation in Kansas. Soil is the basis for our ecosystem, and it's our rich prairie soils that made this state a prime landing place for early Kansans. That soil allows for high-quality crop production as well as grazing opportunities for livestock. Healthy soil is also closely linked to healthy water, as the soil infiltrates and stores water, making it available for farmers and ranchers when that water is needed for their crops and animals. There are several key steps that owners and managers of land can take to help in the efforts toward healthy soil. By reducing tillage, keeping soil covered with residue such as cover crops, and introducing managed grazing onto rangelands and croplands, you can reduce erosion and retain nutrients. In addition, crop rotation can add more diversity, which is beneficial for soil health. In recent years, technological advancements have given us new tools to use in land management techniques. from no-till planting and cover crop planting to irrigation management and making decisions that can reduce or adapt inputs. The Kansas Department of Agriculture works with conservation districts across the state, which act on a local level to promote conservation of soil and other natural resources. And KDA is proud to be involved in a new partnership effort, the Kansas Soil Health Alliance, which is working to expand the information and tools that are available to Kansas farmers, ranchers, and landowners who are committed to improving soil health across the state. Thanks to all of you who are working side by side with all of us as we preserve and enrich this critical resource that's at the base of our agricultural roots, healthy Kansas soil.
Many seed companies claim to offer the latest genetics, but how many have tested those genetics in soils just like yours? The Oldie Seed Know to Grow research program has fully tested the latest seed genetics in soils that are right in your neighborhood. The Oldie Seed Know to Grow program can recommend the best performing hybrids from technologies like Enlist, Extend, and Liberty Link that will optimize the yield and profit of every acre on your farm. Contact Oldie Seed today.
The Kansas Grain Sorghum Commission continues to highlight its leaders ahead of this year's spring planting season, including a drive to the farm of its chairman, Stephen Biggie.
Our farm is based just outside of Stockton. We raise typically anywhere from 350 to 500 acres of sorghum a year. Depends on our crop rotation. Sorghum is very important. We use it as a primary feed source through the winter for cattle. I try everything I can to work sorghum into the rotation. Here till the last 2 or 3 years, sorghum was the only real fall crop we planted. Our basis out here has increased significantly. Typically we are 50 to 60 cents under corn in this area. Last week, till we kind of had a basis drop off, we were 60 cents over on new crop. I did sell some $6 sorghums, so I did accomplish that.
Chairman Biggie also recalled how he first got involved with the commission.
I'd go to seed dealers, seed companies, and be like, what have you had in research in sorghum? And their answers were nothing. I saw that as a huge issue in the fact of sorghum is a good crop for our area. We've seen a lot of changes in the last 7-8 years that I've been on the commission. Advancements in genetics and technology and drought tolerance, and it's allowing producers to reinvest that money here, help grow our economies, help grow our small communities, support the local co-op. A lot of things to look forward to, and things are looking up in the sorghum world.
What if U.S. soybean meal were more than a commodity? If seed companies and the soybean checkoff built a better variety? That future is here. The time is now. To meet end-user demands, the soybean checkoff is investing in the compositional quality of soybeans, including meal. A message from the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers.
USDA has announced it will begin making coronavirus food assistance program payments to cattle producers and farmers in April. The agency will implement an increase in CFAP-1 payment rates for cattle based on the number of head in inventory from April 16th to May 14th of 2020. Cattle producers with approved CFAP-1 applications automatically will receive these payments. Only those who previously applied for CFAP-1 are eligible to receive the payment. Additional assistance of $20 per acre also will be provided to producers of eligible crops identified as CFAP-2, flat rate, or price trigger crops. The Farm Service Agency automatically will issue payments based on the eligible acres included on CFAP-2 applications. Producers do not need to submit a new application. For more information on the additional payment rates for cattle or a list of eligible crops, go to farmers.gov/CFAP. USDA also is establishing a new initiative to bring financial assistance to a broader set of producers than previous aid package. Through the Pandemic Assistance for Producers program, USDA will dedicate at least $6 billion to developing several programs or modify existing proposals using coronavirus funding that wasn't spent by the previous administration. The initiative will include possible expansions and corrections to CFAP, such as support for dairy or other livestock producers. It will be subject to rulemaking, but USDA has indicated that will begin this spring.
Grain sorghum is one of the most important cereal crops worldwide, and Kansas leads the nation in its production. Over the years, sorghum has been either exported, used in animal feed domestically, or for other industrial uses. Recently, its use in the ethanol market has seen tremendous growth, with 30% of domestic sorghum typically going to ethanol production. Kansas Grain Sorghum is committed to sorghum research, market development, and education. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org.
Good morning, folks. Colette at Pinion, a division of K-Coe. All eyes are on Wednesday's Planning Intentions Report from the USDA. It's no surprise with higher prices typically comes higher acres, and many are anticipating record acres from the USDA. Numbers thrown out have been as high as 92 to 94 million corn acres and 88 to 91 million bean acres. While we did see some rain this week across parts of Kansas and Nebraska, trade will look for weather headlines as we get further into the calendar year. We are, after all, staring down the front end of planting season. In the meantime, we will also be listening for weather headlines from South America when they get into their second crop. Whether it's old crop or new crop, don't let your marketing plan fall to the back burner because prices are good right now. Last year's harvest rally was not something we typically see, which means higher harvest prices are not something we typically see. Do not get caught waiting around on all the headlines. Give us a call at 888-452-8751 to talk about your personal marketing plan. I'm Colette at Pinion, and I'd love to help you market your crop.
Well, that's our show. Be social with us at KansasAgReport.net or our social media channels. Spring is here, baseball is back, spring planting is underway in some parts of the state, so do be safe. Thank you for watching. I'm Ken Rogers. We'll see you next week.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas Corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
Premier Farm & Home has what you need to make your lawn the best in the neighborhood.
Hi, I'm Ken. We choose Premier Farm & Home for the professional look that we do ourselves.
Feel free to stop in. You can also visit our website at heycow.com.
No one plans to get sick or injured. But when life happens, it's important you and your family are protected. Kansas Farm Bureau health plans are there to provide continued health care coverage to meet your needs. Choose from a broad range of individual and family plans. And if you're over 65, we have options for you too. Learn more at kfbhealthplans.com or contact a Farm Bureau Financial Services agent near you.